All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This message is for Scorpios. Scorpios are experiencing, um, I want to say, the retrograde with Pluto going back into Capricorn. You guys are experiencing that in your fifth house, going back to the fourth house. So there could be family situations that come up that you're going to have to go back and take care of that may have refused or sparked up. There could be family issues that need to be addressed that were not addressed, home issues, relationship in home, nurturing issues personally. Some of you could begin to feel abandonment issues that need to be completed. You could have went through the last 13, 14 years of experience that those feelings like you were left alone to deal with something, and you honestly could have taken on some things that left you alone because others didn't want to pioneer it, but you wanted to pioneer it. Very important to understand, but it has to deal with home. Home is where the heart is, and family, and that is fourth house energy for Scorpios, which would be in the 10th house. Sometimes it can be confusing when you're describing the transiting energies, but as I was, shuffling and thinking about Scorpios, that was the most important part because generations depend on the transition of new, and Scorpio is about the transition of new. So your family changes, and if you felt like you were given empowerment of a matriarch or patriarch, it's up to you to look at what needs to change for the better in your family. That's one of the things, and that is first going to be change in you. It's going to be feeling isolated and left alone in some instances because that's where you get your power. You also get new energy when you are out of when you're isolated. You get new empowerment if you work on yourself because you don't have all that added energy of others. You're able to actually release it. And some people don't understand that. You start to hear only what you hear within yourself. All of the voices will leave. And so, also, when we look at where the sun went into Gemini, um, that's right around, I think, your seventh house. Uh, I'm looking at it in, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so relationships come to mind, and relationships are going to begin to flourish for you. Even with Hades or Pluto being in your fifth house, you'll see relationships begin to flourish. Your communication is going to expand. For those of you that may feel like you have communication problems, you've had problems with people hearing you. Think about first how you listen to yourself, and as you evaluate that, you'll come into an understanding of possibly why others didn't listen to you. You may have been in a position earlier in age where people didn't listen, but it was for you to observe, to learn character and ethics of others and their practices, sharpen yours, and come into yourself and your truth. And that is what the universe is calling for. So here is your first card. Relationships coming in strong. Something about grief. The Five of Cups is reversed. So there's some kind of grief or something that you went through, and now it's changing for you. I see healing. And that's also connected to your fourth house, something that has went on with family and home that you've been going through and grieving about is changing, and you're healing. All right. Grief is normal, but sometimes people, they stay in grief. They don't know how to process it. That's when you get help. All right. The Hermit, you've been in solitude. The solitude card is here, and that is because when you're grieving about even losing a job or um, something, grieving about, your children, what you wanted for them, the hermit will always take you into a place where you can clean your energy in solitude. Your solitude is where energies fall away. Your aura can be cleaned out because you're not around other energies. As you come into collective, um, situations, going to events, and that you gravitate and you become embellished with others' energy. And sometimes people can't know their energy from others. Empaths absorb energy, and Scorpios have the ability to be empaths. Or they can be because they like hermit modes. They like to be in spaces where they can think clearly, but you can't get clear thinking if you are in the presence of people that have thoughts that are different from yours, or there's conflict, jealousy, envy, and striving. You have to steal away. So the resilience card comes up, seven of wands. You are and have stood the test of time with things. Things are speeding up. You got two cards that are here. Eight of wands. Things are speeding up. I feel like in this time there is an energy also influencing you concerning your talents and skills. The magician comes to mind, mercurial energy. It's speeding up energy, but just make sure that your thoughts are on your vision and where you're going and what you desire out of life, okay? What you're working on. Six of Wands or Six of Swords. Um, Anxiety has to go because if you keep it, it's going to slow down your movement. The thoughts and the wands conflicting with anxiety, it has to go. It also feels like it could be something or someone around you that's slowing down your movement. There's a contemplation about things, but maybe there has been some fear or worry concerning what others or someone in your direct vicinity around you is going to say. So turn that around, begin to meditate. No weapon formed can prosper. I'm anxious for nothing but to God in prayer for everything. That's your way of thinking so that you can keep the speed of where you're going and what you have been coming through. You've been going up some uphill mountains for evolution. Your evolution is taking you to a place that others cannot go. Um, yeah, your perspective is changing. Been looking around at who and what is really in your corner. That's that hermit energy, changing your thoughts and how you see life. That's maturity. All right. Maturity is coming. All right. God bless. King of Wands. Passion is coming in for you. I knew I felt that. And so as you're maturing, you'll be able to see the King of Wands, the passion, and even that King of Wands in you growing. And that is that Mercury energy that changes things that look like it's not working for me, which is a thought. I change it. You change it by saying it's all working. Sometimes the thoughts from the past will come back and say, what I've been grieving about, it's not going to work out. Yes, it is. Work it out through your words, the wand. Okay. Work it out by speaking the word. I am supported by God. God provides for me. And I was telling some people, I was listening to Reverend Ike the other day, some of his old videos, and he said, that someone said they couldn't come to a conference because they didn't have the money in or buy a book. It was like $3. And he said, well, what God do you serve? you know. And he said that if your God can't give you $3, then you got to change the God that you serve. So what I want to say is that your passion is in your word. As you speak and focus on that, God begins to take you on greater heights and levels and widths to show you who he is. The addict is, just hear what I'm saying. The addict with the addiction is attached to the addiction. He will or she will adventure into drugs or sex and food eating but that is a God for them, and they must discover that. We are addicts to thinking, addicts to working. We must discover that to put that God in control and go to the higher levels of a God. Even Jesus is a part of that, and those other religious practices that we have. But the key is finding that something has control over me and is not the true God of the universe. So the universe can support you and give you anything that you desire, but you have to find what God has been controlling you to keep you from all your good and your blessings. So thank you, subscribe and share. And my first people that actually email me, I'm giving away the shadow book that I have written. You can go on my page and also look at the class that I did on the shadow book. It was a quick class, but you can get self-development out of that book. So blessings, and thank you so much for subscribing and sharing and being a part. Bye-bye.